Hello, musicians. One of the first videos I ever posted on YouTube was one where I showed 15 different gospel piano endings. It's still to this day one of my personal favorites. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Click the eye up here and check that video out, and then come back and watch this one. So today I want to give you three more gospel piano endings. Now, the first two are in line with classic gospel piano endings, and the third one is going to borrow from jazz language to create something completely different. So let's get started. So the theory that I hypothesize regarding gospel piano endings is that we start on the one chord, experience some tension to take us to the four chord, and then some tension again to take us back to one. And so if I'm in the key of C, I might start on one, add some tension to the one chord of some sort, maybe. All right, now I go to the four, which would be F, and then some tension here, and the most common one is F minor 6. Okay, so I could voice it maybe slightly different. You probably heard that sound lots of times, and there are lots of different variations. So on Jonathan McReynolds' 2018 Make Room Deluxe Edition album, not the normal album, the deluxe edition, the very last song on the album is one called God is Good. At the very end of that song, the musician plays a really, really cool ending. So let me show you that. He's in B flat, and he simply goes, I'll show you again. And I'm holding this B flat, but I'll do it without the B flat holding in the middle. And he ends it. But then one of the musicians that I've worked with for the past 20 years took that ending and extended it. His name is Justin Brown, and he showed it to me, and this is what he did. One more time. I wanted to add some chords to it. So what I'm going to do is break down that one. So I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to break it down by hand. So the right hand does this. A nice little melodic line goes up, starts on the one chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, then skips down, 2, 3, 1, 2, 7, 1. So, all right. And then the left hand is going to go chromatically down until the very end, and then it's going to go differently. So I'll show you that. Watch. So one more time, just starting on the B flat and going chromatically down. If I put both hands together, I get this. So let's go a little deeper. Let's figure out what these chords are and see if it follows the pattern that I mentioned earlier. So we start on B flat, and I'm going to assume this is a B flat major chord, even though we only have one note here. Then we're going to go to this. Now this could be like an A diminished, but I'm going to assume this is an F. And then think of that. Now I'm going to make the assumption this is B flat 7. So B flat, F, without the root, B flat 7 without the root. And look at that. That looks like it should be E flat. So, and I'm adding the B flat there, but I'll do without it. And look at that. This is F sharp and C. Now, some people think this is like diminished, but remember the original theory I said, if we're going back to 1, it's probably going to be E flat. It's going to be a 4 minor 6. So we're in the key of B flat. So that would be this. And look at the guide tones of the chord, F sharp and C. So that fits the theory still. So, and we're back to B flat. So that works out. But then what happens here? That looks like C7. This looks like it could be like C minor. And then this looks like F, and then B flat. So we get this B flat F, B flat 7, E flat minor 6, B flat. Now C7, C minor, F, B flat. And you'll notice me occasionally I'm adding a couple B flats in the middle, like right there, right here. I'll add the B flat in there. Maybe I do that sometimes. Right here, for sure. So this, I would argue, still holds true to the pattern. I said 1 with tension, or some type of tension to get us to the 4. We're here on the 4. Then we have this a 4 minor 6 to get us back to 1. And then we have this pass. So now this progression here, I'm on C7 and then I go to C minor. That might not make sense. Like how does that work? But this is a common progression in gospel music. We play it all the time. Think of the song like I love you, I love you, I love you, know what to do. Right here. C7, then C minor. So going to from the 2 dominant to the 2 minor is a common progression in gospel music. So there you go. This progression does hold to the theory that I said. The second ending I would like to talk about is the one on Kurt Carr's 2000 album, Awesome Wonder. And it was on the song Worship Medley. I actually think it's track 7 if I remember rightly. Don't hold me to that. But at the end of that song, there is one of the longest but most beautiful gospel piano endings I've heard, and I want to share that one with you. And I think it's either Kevin Bond or Jason White on the keys. Don't hold me to that either. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's one of those 2 guys. I know they both played on it, and it feels like them, so I'm not sure which one it is. So they were in the key of D flat. They're going, because he first loved. Then the choir goes, me, and the musicians go. Again, one of the most beautiful endings I've encountered. So let's talk about the melody first, because that's really the key to this. So the melody is it's a pretty long melody. I'll put the notes up. But this is classic Bond style or West Coast style, where you have a progression, but what makes the progression really sweet is the inclusion of a really strong melody. And so let's talk about the chords and see how the melody relates to the chords. So what other chords? Well, the first chord is D flat. And then for the second chord, I hear sometimes it's D flat with maybe a B flat added. All right, and then we go to now on the recording they're pedaling D flat on the bottom. So you can think of this as a D flat 13 sus, or some people think of it like an A flat minor, right? So like you're doing a 2-5-1 to G flat, or you can do it all over D flat bass, so it becomes D flat 13 sus, then D flat 7 with the 13th and the flat 9. And then we're going to G flat. Again, it's all over a pedal. And then G flat minor 6. And you notice the melody follows along with the chords. So for our D flat, our first D flat, all right, then we have this D flat 6 maybe. And then we have D flat 13 sus, or A flat minor, depending on how you look at it. Then D flat 13 flat 9. Then G flat. And here the melody goes to the 9. That's such a beautiful melodic moment right there. Come down to the G flat minor 6 or E flat minor 7 flat 5. And then, all right. Now, one popular way to play this is harmonize the melody in sixths. So as you play the harmonize in sixths. Right here, you might do a slightly different fifth, and then back to sixth. We have to adjust it in a couple spots. So let me show you how that sounds. So now the question is, does this hold to the theory? Well, let's look at it. We start on 1. We start adding tension to it. So now really tension. Now we got to move from it. Go to the 4. And then we have the 4 minor 6. So yes, this is exactly the pattern. Now, many times gospel musicians will pull from other genres for progressions and ideas. And many progressions in gospel music have been pulled from jazz. One progression is Tadd Dameron's Turnaround. So Tadd Dameron is a jazz composer, arranger, and pianist, and is widely considered as one of the most influential arrangers in jazz music. And Tadd created a progression or a turnaround that many believe influenced John Coltrane's exploration into this topic. You know, the classic song Giant Steps. Whether you're a jazz musician or not, everyone knows the song Giant Steps, you know. And that's a popular song that gospel musicians or a lot of musicians like to shed on because the changes move so fast. So this turnaround that Tadd Dameron created, well, let's start at the beginning. So let's take a simple 1-6-2-5. So in the key of C, so we have 1, 6, 2, 5. Put some color on it. Back to 1. All right. So the first thing Tadd did was made everything dominant instead of the normal diatonic chords. So outside of the first chord, so we have the first chord, and then instead of going to A minor, we're going to H7, and then B7, and then G7. And now what he did was he tritone subbed everything. So what does tritone sub mean? It means substitute the chord you're currently playing with a chord that is a tritone away. A tritone is 6 half steps or 3 whole steps. So we have C, and then we went to A, but instead of going A, we're going to go to tritone away, which would be E flat 7. And then the next chord was D7. So instead of D flat, we're going to go to tritone away, which is A flat. And then we had G7, but we're going to go to tritone away. So instead of G7, we're going to go to D flat 7. So here we go. So again, this is the progression. So gospel musicians will do that idea and maybe vary it. Um, All right, but I don't want to stop there. Instead of those chords being dominant, make them major 7. So E flat major, A flat major, D flat major, and then back to C. And you can kind of hear the jazzy kind of influence, right? All right, so let's play maybe the end of a song and see how we can apply this ending. So let's see. Love me. That works. Now the question is, does this hold true to the original theory, which was start on the 1 chord, have some tension that gets us to the 4 chord, and then we have some tension to get us back to 1. Well, this whole progression is all about getting us to the 1. So it's the second half of the theory, if you will, getting us to the 1, not so much getting us to the 4 first. So one can make the argument that it still kind of holds, but it's definitely different. So I would love to hear you experiment with this idea and create your own endings. So make a video, tag me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anywhere, TikTok, and I would love to hear you playing these endings or even creating your own. Also, make sure you subscribe. We are on our way to 100,000 subscribers. I'm super excited about it and honored and humbled by that number. That's such a big number, and I couldn't do it without your support. So let's keep going. Also, if you found great value in this video, hit the like button. That's a metric that YouTube uses to determine if the videos I'm making are being helpful and liked by you all. So if you found value in it, definitely like it. And also comment your suggestions below for new videos, because I want to make the videos you actually want to know about and have interest in. So definitely comment your suggestions below for new videos. And lastly, if you need help, if you're trying to figure out what to do next, how do you improve, you're stuck and you just need some help, set up a call with me. In the description box below, I have a link to set up a free 15-minute call with me where we'll talk about where you are and how I can help you get to your next level. All right, you all. Well, thank y'all so much again for checking out this video. And until the next one, be blessed and happy practicing.